Okay, we're in section 13 of the notes, and this is where we're going to actually practice using the product and quotient rules for taking derivatives. These things were proved to you in a prior section, but I'm going to reprove them. It'll be quick though. What we need to do is get to examples and see if we can do the examples. All right. But I'll just reaffirm that we've done these before. Hopefully you remembered you can do it on your own at some point with practice, of course. You need to study though. All right. Let me do another share, the whiteboard. And I'm going to rederive those rules that we did in the past. All right. Again, someone says, I don't even remember that. I don't even remember you doing that or talking about it. That's where your engagement is really going to be paying off. You got to really do that. So let's write this down. And I'm going to do it. I'm just going to look at it. And I'm going to, kind of work left or right in this problem over here. I'm going to use what I know, which is I certainly know the definition, and this is for a product. So limit as h goes to 0. I'll manipulate it for you. This is a product, so it's going to be h f of x plus h times g of x plus h minus f of x, g of x. That means just writing the definition down. Now, if you didn't know the definition, it'd be hard to write that down. Limit h goes to 0. If you remember in the past, what I did is I gave and I took, right? So let's put that down again. I'm just reviewing what we did in the prior lecture. Let's see. Let's see. What are we going to do here? Well, I guess we're going to do, let's see. We want to get something here, right? So remember we gave and we took. And let me write this over here. So we're going to give or take f of x, g of x plus h. Let me write this down. So if I took it, I got to give it, right? So plus f of x, g of x plus h. What do I get now? Minus f of x, g of x. I know it looks awful to you, but the bottom line is what we did. We said, let's look at these guys here. And then after I look at those guys, I look at this guy over here. See if we can do that one at a time. And as I do that, we're just trying to get to what we think we have a result. And we did this before. Well, those first two terms, what factors out g of x plus h? And what he left off in the first two terms? F of x plus h minus f of x. This should be deja vu all over again, by the way, that you've seen me do this before. Plus, and again, this is one long limit over here, no doubt about it. What factors out for the next two terms? Just f of x. And what he left off with, g of x plus h minus g of x over h. Now we're going to do limit loss. What do you get over here? Well, this is a product and a sum. So let's see if we can do it. Well, this guy is just going to be g of x. This guy, that's a defining feature of f prime of x, f of x, and the g of x plus h minus g of x over h is just a defining feature of g prime of x. Product rule, all right? Now, someone says you could write this in a variety of ways. You can. Multiplication of commutative and addition of commutative. So there's a variety of ways of written it down. So I just point out it's really equivalent to what we've stated over here. You need to know this rule, though. You need to know this. All right. If you think you can keep deriving over again, you can. Let's do the quotient rule. I know we just did that, and I know it's tedious. I do know this is tedious for students. This is going to be limit. Let's see. H goes to 0. I'm going to write this down. It's going to be crazy. Look, I'm going to write it down for you. It's going to be, what do we have? F of x on top, right? So it's going to be f of x plus h over g of x plus h minus f of x over g of x h. Oh boy, this is going to be a lot of work, isn't it? Equals limit h goes to 0. I can multiply both top and bottom by the minor LCD, and you're going to get H times, this should be deja vu all over again. Sorry about that. I made a mistake there already. Again, we're multiplying the top by g of x plus h times g of x. So what do you get? F of x plus h times, again, I'm multiplying both sides by g of x plus h, g of x. So g of x minus, what's next going to be? F of x times g of x plus h. All right. Now someone says, I don't remember you doing this last time, or I do remember and I was glazed over. I couldn't possibly follow anything you said or did. And this algebra looked really tough. This is where the study department comes in. You got to start studying. Let's put this down for you. And, certainly as I'm doing this, I'm going to, probably do something that you can't remember. And sometimes I can't remember what I've done either. And then I got to think if I can't remember. What's the problem with thinking? Maybe I'll get it wrong. And I'm going to subtract g of x, f of x. Now, if I subtract that, I got to give it. And then what do you get? Minus f of x, g of x plus h, g of x plus h. You know what? I went crazy with the parentheses there. Let me back up a little bit. H, g of x plus h, g of x. And then I'm going to do is I'm going to look at things. I'm going to look at this. And I'll look at this. I'm going to factor those guys around, right? Again, sometimes it's just too much writing for me. Let's see, those first two terms with factors out. G of x. Gee, that's not easy. And we're left off with f of x plus h minus f of x. Gee, that's remarkable. And then I'm looking at the next guy. I'm going to factor out, believe it or not, minus f of x. And we're left off over there, g of x plus h minus g of x. Yes, you would need basic algebra skills to do that. And I got to be honest with you, I'm not going to keep writing this thing over and over again. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus in on really what I'm looking at. And I'm looking at something. I'm looking at, and I'm going to circle what I'm looking at. I'm looking at this. And I'm looking at this. And I'm looking at this. And I'm looking at this. So I think I can do this. And what am I going to get? G of x, that's that right over there, f prime of x. What's on the bottom? G of x squared. Let's do the next guy, minus. What am I seeing as h goes to 0? I'm seeing f of x. And what else am I seeing? I'm seeing this. What's that? G prime. What goes on bottom? Well, g of x squared, right? I'm seeing that right over there. What do I see? Something really simple. I'm seeing the bottom squared, g of x, f prime of x, minus f of x times g prime of x. Let me point out where this is in your notes. It's right over here. You need to know these two things. Right. Now, what I mean by that is you're going to be asked to use the product and the quotient rule. This is the quotient rule. You need to know the quotient rule. All right. Now, someone says it's too much for you to remember. Well, then derive it over and over again. And then you'll say it's much easier to remember than it is to derive. But it is derivable, and it's not difficult to derive it. Right. What comes up next now? Your ability to follow me do examples as outlined in my notes. And then, of course, you have to try on your own. You could retry the same examples we did in class, but there's also going to be new examples to try, and we want you to get there. Thank you.